Howdy, howdy. What's up, guys? Do you like the Batman? It's not technically Batman because, you know, it's a superhero. We'll say superhero. You like that one? I think that one's cool. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Let's see who's here. Wayne Terry was first. Then the Sinister Porpoise is here. Sandy is here. Donald Goodnight's here. I set up the event I think yesterday. I think I set it up yesterday. I probably should set it up sooner than yesterday. Hey Tesla Ranger, what's up? Hey Nether, what's going on? So a lot is happening and stuff. What's up, Michael? Michael Roble. I'll turn my chat on so you guys can pop up on the side. Nina's here, the protector of the Funko Pops. Hey, Harmonica Man. What's up? Let's see what's going on with little Neen. Here she is. The protector of the Funko Pops. My supervisor, the science doggo. Doing her job. She has every confidence in me. That's why she feels like she can nap when I'm working. Yeah. What's up, Neen? Can you say hi to everyone? Little Neen. That's all right. She's learning the Force from Grogu. She's going to be a Jedi dog soon. Neen! Nina, Nina. All ready to do the science things. Hey, Jericho D. What's up? Do you want down? She already wants down. I don't make her sit there, so it's entirely up to her if she wants to participate in the show or not. You okay? You went down? No. Okay. I leave it to her on how much she wants to be active with the show. All right. Who doesn't love yellow mold? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Tesla, that you're recovering from a broken leg. I hope it gets better soon. I don't understand the question. Who doesn't love yellow mold? Dogs rule. They do. They do. Neen still does not like the dog purse. So tried taking her to lunch one day. I think the noise bothers her, but she was very well behaved. She just wanted to sit in my lap the entire time. And I'm like, this is very difficult to eat with you like this. I think she would just climb on top of my head if she could have. So, oh my gosh. You will take me to the kibble now. She's really weird. Had her for a little over a year now. Got her April 2020 from some family members who had passed away, and we had to go through and find homes for all of their pets, which was very difficult. Some pets are out of state now with rescue groups and have found homes since, so that's nice. But boy, it was rough. She's very picky. She was fed a lot of people food. So she is a muffin burglar, a toast grabber. She will take an entire muffin bigger than her head off of your plate. She doesn't do that anymore. When we first got her, she totally did that. She was a food stealer, and she would steal toast from her previous owners, and our owners would be like, "Where did my toast go? I just made toast and it's missing." So she would steal buttered toast, and to be fair, I get that. It's buttered toast, but she's gotten better with that. It's just really hard to get her to eat certain things. She does not like wet dog food, and you think that she would, but she doesn't. Okay. So we have lots of things to talk about today. The latest COVID conspiracies, and some stuff that's come out in the news. Oh god. It's, it's just, um and Thursday night. All right, let's start here. And we'll see what you guys think. So Thursday night, I'm gonna share my screen here, and you guys can check this out. Um, this was Thursday night. Wait a second. That's not what I meant to do. Gonna try again. Um, Let me try sharing my screen again. Alrighty. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I was on Math Pig's channel Thursday night just for an after party. Um, and it was with a couple of people. You might recognize them. We got Math Pig right here. I forgot this guy's name. I feel so bad. I think this is the first time I was meeting him. Clockwork Rex, who's a regular viewer, and I don't remember this person's name right off. And then this guy named Alejandro. Um, so I was in the side chat. I just happened to see that it was live, and I was in the side chat, and this guy was getting all kinds of things wrong about the origin of the universe, Big Bang, that sort of thing. So let's take a minute to just listen to just the beginning. And I will point out, if you watch the rest of this, I mean, I'm not on the thing for a full 3 hours. I show up around 46-minute mark. And I'm probably there for about an hour at most. But this guy wants to come back and debate me. I don't know that I'll do that because it's like a giant waste of time sometimes. But it's mostly, I think, for entertainment for people who are watching, because he did not do so well. Let's listen to just a few of the things he has to say. And then, let's hear. Okay, so I'm a chemistry professor. And I cover the Big Bang and the origins of the elements in my lectures. So, what are your questions, my dude, Alejandro? Ask me your questions and I will give you answers.
I don't have any questions.
You don't have any questions? I'm
What
so
about the
sad for
question?
you.
Where did the universe come from, Mel?
Come from? Yeah, you were just asking that.
That's not a chemistry question.
Yes, it is. Where did the universe come from? His first answer is it's not a chemistry question. What do you guys think? Am I like any kind of authority on discussing where the universe came from in regard to chemistry? What do you guys think? Oh my gosh. Is the origin of the universe a chemistry question? Hey, John, is it a chemistry question? I mean, I literally talk about it in my general chemistry 2 lectures. We talk about the origin of the elements. But let's see. I laughed throughout the entire time, and I think that made him mad. Do you not understand that quantum particles are part of chemistry, and the Higgs boson is one of the quantum particles, and we've observed that through the CERN Hadron Collider? That was one
Yeah, I
of
get
the
that.
initial particles that caused the Big Bang, that happened not
Right.
just at one point, but all over the universe all at
Mm-hmm.
once. And as that
Okay.
expansion happened, once
Mm-hmm.
that huge amount of energy from the colliding of these particles occurred, we started to see these particular quantum particles start to slowly form the elements. Now, if you're
Right.
familiar with all of the elementary particles, are you familiar with all of the quantum elementary particles? Beauty, quark, strange, all of those. They're literally called that. It's way cool.
I'm passingly familiar with them, but that doesn't address the question of where the cosmos came from.
Where the cosmos came from? It came
Right.
from
You're okay. You're
Oh, I love the way she said
presupposing
there. She said
quantum
before.
phenomena.
and it's likely happened several times where you've had
Okay.
expansion and retraction. You've
Again,
had some evidence for that.
you're presupposing. It's like where did the watch come from? From the watch factory.
Okay, so you're making the assumption that something can't happen without a being causing it. Is that
Okay,
what you're saying?
you're making the assumption that the quantum phenomenon can't not exist.
What I'm saying to you, what my question is do you think particles can interact and happen and move and interact with each other without any human, not even human, without any kind of thought forcing it to move that way?
Right, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you think. Okay. So my argument, we can't explain everything post reintegration, period, via chemistry and physics. No further philosophy required. Yes. Cosmology, origin of the universe, is separate field from chemistry. Okay. It's a pre-chemistry question, requires matter, and matter didn't exist. Chemistry, then you got quantum chemistry, where you have quantum particles interacting with each other. And the entirety of atomic theory, how we know atoms form, how we know that atoms form is based on an understanding of quantum particles, because that's what atoms are made of, quantum particles. And the disassociation of those atoms in the particulate form is still a branch of chemistry. Now, how these particles interact, that's still a question of chemistry. Physicists explain how things work on a mathematical level. Okay, they do the math to show that things can happen prior to us observing it, based on the observations that we have in chemistry. So there's a lot of chemistry that is involved with discussing the origins of the universe. I mean, it's a part of general chemistry coursework. You have to know how the elements came to be and how matter came to be. And even quantum particles have mass. So they do have mass. And that's how they come together to make the protons and the neutrons. They come together and they form these atoms. So it's hilarious to me. He thinks that this stuff can happen, but it has to have some kind of thought to cause these particles to interact, which it doesn't. In fact, when we look at particles, they act differently because light affects their movement. How do we know this chemistry? So, I mean, the Bohr model. That's how we got the Bohr model. The fact that electrons can absorb light and release them. So I disagree that it's not a chemistry question, because you have to understand chemistry in order to understand the things that make up the chemistry. And then you can expand into the origins of it by using mathematic models. So it's across disciplines. I will say it's across disciplines, because you have to have a fundamental understanding of chemistry in order to even begin to look at the origins of the universe as a job. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just like, it's pretty funny. I get really mad at him at one point. And you know what, you guys, here, I'll put the link in the chat. Let me share. I'll copy at this timestamp and I'll put it in the link in the chat. And you tell me if I got something wrong, because I want to know. And you have a look and let me know, what could I have done better? You can tell me what I could have done better on this. But this guy wants to debate again. I don't know if I will, because he couldn't stop laughing. There's so much that's he basically, and I don't really talk about religion too much on this channel. He basically said that science can prove the existence of God, which it can't. I mean, the very nature of religion is that it's supernatural. You can't have instrumentation to prove a supernatural entity. I mean, that's just how it is. But I can't explain through science why certain phenomena happen. And that was kind of my argument here. And it just made him mad and he rage quit. Cosmogony, not cosmology. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay. I understand, Nether. So it's pretty funny. Let me see. We'll watch a little bit more and then we'll talk about the other things. But have a look. Let me know how I did. I don't really do the debate me bros because I don't really find a reason for that except for maybe my own personal entertainment, because I tend to just rip them apart and I'm not very kind and I don't really like myself in that. It's not I don't think it's rare form for me to spend my time tearing apart a person who's willfully ignorant. It's more, it feels like I'm taking gloves off and punching a toddler in the face. And I feel kind of dirty afterwards. I don't really like it so much, but it might be funny for some people.
Yeah, that's
That
the
is
teleological
not
argument.
how chemistry works at all. There's
Okay.
no
You're
thought
talking.
at all
Okay.
with reactions between particles.
I
There's
just
no
agreed
thought
with
that
you.
just happen.
I just agreed with you.
Oh, you agreed with me. So there's
Yeah,
no
that's under
thought.
that's under the teleological argument. That's under the
Okay.
fine-tuning of the cosmos.
Okay, so you think somebody's fine-tuning the cosmos.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not how chemistry works. It has nothing to do
Okay.
with fine-tuning.
Okay, so why does chemistry work?
How does the chemistry work? Because we have something called intermolecular forces. We have positive and negative charges.
Which came from?
Which came from what? Where do they come from? Tell me, Alejandro.
Well, here's the thing. You're either going to argue that it randomly came into being at the Big Bang, or it was designed. Those are your two options.
There's nothing to do with random. How do you know that they just didn't always exist?
Well, again, that's what you're obliged to argue.
So my question is, how do you know that they didn't just always exist that way? And this isn't like the 100th universe that we've experienced.
It's the 127th.
Well, number one, the teleological argument deals with that pretty clear. You're arguing that.
That's all human-based logic. Why can't you go beyond that and think maybe
Okay, so now you're arguing human-based logic isn't a thing. You just blew up the board. You just might as well pour gasoline on the chessboard.
What I'm arguing is that particles interact and do things without human interaction. We have nothing to do with that. So they can happen and do those things. So if you want to think that God somehow said, okay, I'm going to make this end positive and this end negative, that's okay. But please know there's absolutely no instrument whatsoever that can prove that some kind of outside force that's undetectable in any capacity to make particles interact together.
So you know God is undetectable. All right, go ahead and prove that.
God is undetectable. That's correct.
Okay,
so if
how do you know that?
Okay, so I'm just going to say this. This is why I don't talk about religion on my channel, because there's no instrument that can detect that. The instruments we have detect particles, they detect their interactions. We know dark matter exists, and we know that dark energy exists because we can detect it. We can detect its forces. We can detect the forces of it. We can detect its interactions with other things, even though we have yet to actually observe it. We can still detect it. That's different. It's we have we know gravity exists. We experience gravity, but we haven't detected the graviton yet, the particle that's responsible for gravity. So I focus mostly on what do instruments do, right? Hey, Polymathic. Hey, Reaper's Lair. What's up, August? So it's pretty interesting to me when somebody decides to put a label on a thing when that label cannot be detected, you know? Oh, hey, thank you for the 99-cent super chat. Smiling faces with sunglasses. Thank you, Reaper's Lair. So I always find it interesting when people want to put a meaning onto something that's not detectable. And that's completely fine. It's okay to do that, guys. It's okay to do that. But you can't say that that's what the proof is, because that's not how this works. Science is about looking and adding to a body of knowledge so we have a better understanding about how things work. Our instruments look and they observe, they help us observe things that are facts. Here are things that are facts. We know what the charges of particles are, like protons, electrons, neutrons. We know that we have residual evidence that a Big Bang existed by the amount of hydrogen in the cosmos and things like that. That's what we test. Now, if you want to put a label on something and said, that's my evidence that God exists, that's okay. You can do that. But that doesn't mean that's the existence of God. That's two different things. Even I don't really talk about my personal faith because it's nobody's business. And that's not what I do here. But there are within the scientific community lots of scientists who are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Shinto, practice maybe even Zoroastrianism. But they're willing to suspend that that's my faith, but that's not science. This is how I find meaning in what I observe. And this is what matters to me, is this is the way that I find meaning in what I observe. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. But what I take offense to is that people like Alejandro are going to sit here and try to say, oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. God exists because of this. I'm like, you don't even know if I'm an atheist or not. For all you know, I might be a believer, but my job is science. And science is not necessarily at odds with religion, as lots of people would like to make you believe, mostly faith-based people. There is no at odds with religion. You can have a faith in the supernatural if you want. But you can't say that science is evidence of that, because it's not. The very nature of religion is to find reason in like some kind of reason beyond our capabilities of detection. And again, that's human. It's okay to do that, guys. It's how we get imagination. It's how we drive ingenuity. It's, how we go to ask and find the answers to those questions. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's why I don't really do debates like this, except he gets mad because he doesn't have a fundamental understanding of chemistry, doesn't have an understanding of science, and he wants to just push his particular narrative on people. I'm like, that's not what science is. And some of his arguments are hilarious. And I'm sitting there and he brings up morality. Morality is the existence of God. I'm like, but it's not, though, because we can see this in the animal kingdom, and animals have no concept, as far as we know, as to whether or not God exists. They have symbiotic relationships in the form of altruism, where animals will completely give up their lives to save another species. We see that. That's in a type of morality. So, and you can measure these behaviors on a genetic level even. Dogs, golden retrievers have a gene that produces that protein to get them to want to go and get a ball. That's the trigger. The ball throws, I've got to go get that. I mean, we breed them that way. So now if you want to say God put that gene there through evolution, you know, that's okay. There's no reason to say that, but you can't sit here and say that evolution is what proves God exists, because it's not what it does. It just tells you what we observe and explanation as to why it happens. Um, so that's why I don't really talk about religion on my channel, because people get really upset and they think that science is at odds with religion, and it's not. I don't want to tell people you can't believe in this thing that makes your life better, because for a lot of people, religion makes their life better. You know, it's like their own coping mechanism. So it's like, that's okay. So that's why I don't really do the debate me stuff. But he got mad and rage quit. Everybody's like, no, he said, no, I had to go anyway. It's almost late. But now he wants to debate again. And I don't know. He had a lot of really just off the wall, weird comments, and he wasn't listening to my rebuttal. He would just say the same thing over and over again. And there's like no chance of me ever changing his mind. So, I mean, what's the point other than for everybody else's entertainment to watch me punch a toddler in the face without gloves? I mean, it's just kind of like, that's why I don't really do the debate me stuff. So I just happened to hop on because I was like, he was saying so many wrong things. And then he didn't like to be corrected, and now he's mad and stuff. So he's not interested in changing his mind. He just wants to try to make me look bad. And that's usually what it is. It's about, I'm going to fight her and show that I can do this. I'm going to go up against this professor. And I'm like, you know, why? I just told you it's okay for you to believe those things. And I tell him that over and over again, and he still gets mad. So it's like, what's the goal? The goal is not to change his mind, because that's impossible. So that's why I don't really do the debate stuff. Modern day debate used to message me every once in a while and say, hey, would you like to come on and debate this? I'm like, but why though? Why would I do that? Would you like to debate the existence of Bigfoot? I need you to come on and say that he doesn't exist. And it's just like, is this, why would I do that? So I just pretty much told him that I'm not doing that at all. I have no interest in doing the modern day debate stuff. I mean, I guess I could and maybe rake in some more followers, but it's just like, do I really want to do that? That's like time out of my day, and I'm already really busy, and do I really want to destroy this other human being on, a channel? I mean, I would equate this to like throwing Christians to lions in the Colosseum, because I can destroy people on a platform like this. And it doesn't make me feel good when I do it. I'm like, okay, well, that was funny. He made a lot of terrible comments, and I just laugh my way through it. And I'm like, and then I think about Mr. Rogers, and I really do. I don't think you guys realize. I ask myself often, what would Mr. Rogers do? And then I'm going, Mr. Rogers would not have been proud of me a couple nights ago. Even though I tried to console the guy and tell him it's okay for you to believe this, but you're just wrong. But that hurts people's feelings too, So it's like, hey, Diana Cat. So it's like, why would I don't know. I'm torn about that, because yeah, other people enjoy it, but I'm like, I don't really feel like being the lion that tears apart a Christian in front of an audience, That's what it feels like to me. It feels kind of icky. So I don't know. I genuinely do feel bad when I destroy another person, unless they're a total jerk. There are some people that are just misogynistic, racist jerks, and I have no qualms whatsoever completely destroying them in front of an audience because they're toxic and horrible human beings. That's different. This guy's just willfully ignorant, doesn't, he has Dunning-Kruger pouring out of his ears, and people in the chat, they enjoyed watching me do this. And I'm like, okay, but I don't really feel good about it, But it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And he wants to debate me again. And I'm like, part of me is like, I hadn't really done that in a while. And then I did it, a few days ago. I'm like, every once in a while it's not too bad or something. But it's just like, what's the point? What's the point? I'm just gonna look like a jerk if if I manage to make this man cry on camera, then I'm gonna feel really bad, which I don't think he will. But it's like, I don't really want to do that, So yeah, check it out if you want to. I posted the link in the chat around the 46-minute mark, and then I'm on for about an hour, and I'm like, what in the heck is going on? This is crazy. And then Math Pig messaged me. He's mad and wants to debate you again. I don't know. I don't think I want to do it. It's not anything I particularly enjoy, so. And he's sitting in his car too. It's like, I get it. Maybe some people are out and about. You're going to have a proper debate. At least have an office of sorts. Is he going to sit in his car again, drive through and get some Taco Bell or something? I mean, it's clearly not important to him. So I'm like, why? Yeah, it does seem to be like, Sandy, it does seem to be like it's just more of a whole button pushing thing. How can I make this person mad so they can rage quit? Which I dare say that's what happened with him. I don't really get angry over that. I did, because he kept interrupting me at one point. I said, no, you're going to sit down and listen and be quiet for a minute. And then I think that's where he got upset. But it's all right. Okay. Let's move on. I want to talk a bit about this article. This just came out in education. That's right, Donald. I can only lead them to water. I cannot make them drink. And that's okay. There's a space for people to tie on some supernatural explanations to science things. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. Just don't assume that science is at odds with you. Just recognize it's two completely different things. All righty. Oh my days. Linguists lament slang ban in London school. So there's a school and this is where I kind of get into the teacher education person that I am. There's a school that has banned slang in the classroom. There's a school that has banned use of slang in the classroom. So the thing that here we've got Arc All Saints Academy has produced lists of banned language, which includes "he cut his eyes at me," which the Collins Dictionary says originates in the Caribbean and means to look rudely at a person and then turn away sharply while closing one eye dismissively. They're banning "oh my days" in a crackdown on fillers and slang in the classroom. They're not allowed to use stuff such as "that's long," which can mean something that is boring or tedious. "That's a neck," which indicates a comment or action is stupid. "Bear," "wow," "cuss," and "oh my God" are also out. You know how often I say "oh my God"? All the time. Hey, Steven. So this particular school is banning slang. Now, the problem that I have with this, okay, I'm a former high school teacher. I now teach college chemistry. I'm okay with people using slang in my classroom. Do you want to know why? Because I use language that is often inaccessible to my students. Scientific literacy, okay? We have an active problem with that in the US. Now, that's not at the fault of the students, it's more of the fault of the education system in what we're dealing with. Teachers are just not allowed to, or at least they don't have time to actively engage in critical thinking with their students. It just requires so much instruction that teachers just don't have that. So they teach basically vocabulary words, and students don't actively get the concepts and they don't really apply critical thinking. And even then, the scientific language, nobody teaches how scientific language goes across multiple disciplines, just, through prefixes and suffixes. So I encourage peer tutoring in my classroom. I have always done that, even when I was teaching high school, because some students are going to understand concepts better than others. And what is there a better thing to do than to have these students explain to other students in language that they understand in order to get those concepts? You're making your life exceptionally harder as a teacher by banning slang. And not only that, you're supposed to meet the students where they are at, not where you are at. Hello, Heat Shield. So it makes me mad. These particular teachers at this school say this guides pupils to use language that fits the formal situations and helps them succeed. The school said the specific words and phrases on the list were selected because they were showing up a lot in people's work, and it stressed the importance of pupils expressing themselves clearly and accurately. Okay. So what you do in this case is you tell them that there's formal English that you use in papers. That's why we literally have an English class. So you show them how to use the APA format or the MLA format. You show them how to write formal papers in traditional English. But, for assignments and stuff, come on, man. Let them use slang. They're explaining to you concepts in the language that they understand. And if you don't understand that language, that is on you. Okay? I will tell you, success does not necessarily come from proper English. It doesn't. That's a racist thing, okay? I mean, come on. This is a bit rooted in racism. Let's just throw that out there. Success does not necessarily come in the use of proper English. My mother told me we needed to speak in proper English because then that always sounded like we were educated. Or a Black person who uses proper English. Oh, you don't sound Black. I mean, how do you not sound Black? I mean, that is such a racist trope. And this is racist, guys. Just because I don't understand what you're saying, this is an opportunity for me to learn how to connect with my students. So I make fun of myself that I don't understand what the kids are saying nowadays. And so even though I have a diverse population of students, anywhere from kids right out of high school to grandparents raising their grandkids. So there's language that I'm not going to understand. There's also cultural differences. And I need to accept that if I'm going to help my students be successful, I need to understand where they are at and I need to meet them there. And that means I'm going to have language that I don't understand. And no, it's not proper English, but that's what the papers are for. That's what the English class is for. This is how you write in a professional setting, but it's okay to use slang to let me know what your concepts are. People often are successful for using terrible language, like terrible grammar. Come on. How many successful people do you know use terrible grammar all the time? Quite a few. So it's just like, come on. Perfect grammar is not the foundation of success. It's working your butt off and being accessible to other people and meeting them where they're at. And sometimes that's code switching, which they talk about. I mean, come on. As a subject of study, code switching, style shifting, youth slang, and use of accent and dialect is increasingly of interest to English language A-level students, according to the AQA exam board. So code switching is really important because it allows you're able to incorporate a bit of the professional language and mix it with the layman language. We don't have enough of that in science, actually. And this is why we have a lot of misinformation, because we have people who are scientists that don't understand how to talk to people who do not understand their words. Okay, let's be honest here. Scientific language is not accessible for the majority of the, pretty much the layman population. They don't understand what those words are. So you have to meet them where they're at if you're going to educate them. So I hate this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, worse is the banning of Creoles. That was done as part of cultural genocide. It really is. Just because you don't understand something or you think this isn't professional, this isn't how white successful people should speak. Oh my God. Come on, really? I just said, oh my God. I would consider myself a successful person. I use slang all the time when I communicate science because it makes you look like a real person, So in Birmingham, St. Thomas Aquinas, I guess Catholic school, has attached instructions to school books about achieving eloquence. They include avoiding the use of colloquialisms such as like and so in academic speech and writing. The instructions include the use of furthermore, consequently, and in conclusion to link sentences and clarify meaning. I mean, come on. Yes, Jericho D, they are adding new slang words all the time to the dictionary. And this is going to alienate some pupils. Right now, particularly in the U.S., we're having a hard time with people going to and being a part of, engaging in their college education. Enrollment's down in a lot of places in the U.S. Stuff like this is just going to make it even harder to get people to go to college even. There's so many studies about slang and its significance, I mean, you don't want to make them feel they have to reject the cultural aspects of their own language, said Dr. Natalie Sharpling, who teaches applied linguistics at Warwick University. We should celebrate the different ways language is being used and concentrate on the content of what is said. Yes. Hello, Hans. So, I mean, that's exactly right, though. And in regular talk, yeah, I use slang. I use cuss words sometimes, and I use that to engage my audience and try to make it look like I'm an accessible person. which I am. And even in my lectures, I'm like, guys, I encourage you to talk to each other, study together, explain concepts to one another because I'm an old lady. I say that. I'm an old lady. Um, and there's going to be language that you use that's going to be more accessible for your classmates. So talk to each other, study together. I mean, there's so much evidence about how peer tutoring increases content retention and content mastery that this makes me nuts. Okay. Yes, do the proper English in the papers, but don't outright ban people expressing themselves in a way that they connect with their peers because that's insane. It is like cultural erasure. So you can ask, and I like to ask the younger students, I'm like, what is the words now that you guys use for like crunk? Because that was what we used in my day when I was DJing. And they'll say, oh, this is the word we use lit and we use this. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So let's talk about how atoms can get lit when they get hit by photons. And they're like, oh my God, don't do that. But it's, I often talk about the valence shell. I'm like, catch me in the valence. How about that? And then they all groan collectively. They're like, catch me outside because it's the outside shell. It's terrible. I have terrible jokes when I lecture. But they remember that. They remember the content and it makes it accessible by using, pop culture references and slang and stuff like, come on, man. People just too freaking uptight and stop being racist. Jeez. I'm all about helping my students succeed. And if they can succeed by talking slang to each other, discussing atomic theory, I am all for that. Steven says, it seems like people who don't want to hear slang are the same people who yell, get off the lawn to the squirrels in their yard. Yeah, they need to learn squirrel language, don't they, Steven? Oh my gosh. So what do you guys think about that? Earn because no like, say, you see, basically. Oh my God. Like was around in the 80s. Did you ban like in the 80s? If you didn't ban like in the 80s, shut up. Yeah, gosh. It is like a silly YouTube comment screamer police argument. It's like, really, that's what you're going to get on to them about, how they express themselves, not the content of what they have to say. Oh, Steven, you speak squirrel. I apologize. You should start classes on that. This makes me cuss, swear, or abuse. Okay, abusive language. If you're being abusive, that's different. Okay, don't be abusive. But come on. Stop it, guys. Okay, I thought this was pretty funny. This comes from Tweaktown. There's probably a better source than this because I'm not familiar with Tweaktown so much, but I happened to see it today. Blue Origin is suing NASA. Did you ever think you would see like a willfully entitled billionaire get so mad that he didn't get a NASA contract that he would sue him? If not, today's your day. It's like, Jesus, for really? I just said for really. All right, look at this. These are terrible. This is a terrible setup of this website. Man. Okay. Anyway, Jeff Bezos is suing NASA. Oh, God. Because Elon Musk got the contract. So somebody who has absolutely no experience except for one space yacht, let's be honest here, is upset. Was your image supposed to change? I added, I don't know I'm going to close this out. Can I close that ad? No, I can't close that ad. I'm going to have to zoom out or something. because the way that this particular article is set up, there's so many ads. So I don't really care for the layout of this website, Blue Origin. You've got so many ads that it makes it impossible to act. Well, not Blue Origin, but Tweak Town. Your ads are ridiculous. Yeah, click on the link I sent. Bezos is a billionaire baby, Tesla. I think he's Dr. Evil because he shot himself in a giant phallus. Looks like a giant phallus, man. I probably do need an ad blocker. I need to put that on here somehow. So, okay. I don't care for either one of these guys' behaviors, right? I don't care for that. Elon Musk, come on. He was a trust fund baby. I mean, yeah, he pushes forward science and I appreciate that, but he's still in this for the money, okay? So, I'm going to just refresh this cuz this looks terrible. So what happens here, Blue Origin argues that NASA changed the parameters of the competition, waiving its requirement to have government safety reviews before each launch of its Starship vehicle in its proposal. And that's stupid. Nobody's waiving. Even Elon Musk doesn't do that. Musk is a bit Dr. Crazy. He's not all there. But I think he has handlers. You know, he has people that are in charge of helping him tone it down. So let's click on this. This is probably better. Here's the relevant, and I'll put this link in the chat so you can find the tweet and have a look with me. Here's the relevant section of the SpaceX white paper refuting the claim that they won't do flight readiness reviews of Starship HLS launches. It also points out that they have a track record of 130 successful orbital launches, including with crew and vital NatSec satellites, which Jeff Bezos does not have. You really expect NASA, Jeff Bezos, I'm talking to you and you don't care because you don't watch my show, but truly, this looks like a giant man baby fit because that's what it is. This looks like a giant man baby fit. Come on. SpaceX always has checks prior to, and they've had 130 successful orbital launches. So you expect NASA to just give you the contract instead of SpaceX, which has a definitive track record of successful launches along with safety checks. Oh my God. Come on, man. Elon Musk says, we always do flight readiness reviews. This argument makes no sense. So, I mean, so he says that NASA waived the requirement for SpaceX to have flight readiness reviews as SpaceX's proposal requires consecutive launches within a short time frame, which isn't true. Blue Origin argues that if it were aware of the flight readiness reviews were flexible, the company would have designed a different lander. Whatever. Oh my gosh. This is stupid. Here's another thing. A decision that was made after SpaceX was selected and during proposal renegotiation. So they basically said that NASA didn't talk to Blue Origin. But for the context of this claim, SpaceX's proposal involved 16 launches. So they were going to do 16 launches. Blue Origin was just doing 3. Oh my God. Come on, Bezos. You were outgunned here. Come on. You were outgunned. You lost. Give it up, man. Why don't you go on your website and order some Whole Foods and, watch one of your streaming videos and then cry yourself into a bucket of Ben and Jerry's. I don't care. You're a jerk, by the way. And yes, I have become dependent a bit on Amazon.com. But, if there was another option that had as much stuff that was available, I would totally do that. Instead, in fact, I've moved most of my streaming over to Hulu. And if I can stream something on Hulu, that's where I go. Hulu, HBO, all of that is all connected to my Hulu. Even my Disney Plus is connected to my Hulu. I don't watch anything on Amazon if I don't have to, Jeff, because you suck. You're a jerk. So there you go. Jeff Bezos, you do not have the experience that SpaceX has. They've been in the business for years. You just jumped into this for a weekend fun moon trip. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I got a space yacht. Who cares? You're a jerk. You got a space yacht done really fast, and it freaked out the scientists at your company so much that they quit. Oh my gosh, your scientists left you because of how bad you suck. Okay? Your scientists left you because you suck. I mean, come on. You thought NASA was really going to waive the freaking flight checks? Really? You thought NASA was going to do that? Do you not know the history of NASA and Apollo 13? We're just going to rant a second. Let me take this off. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Okay. If you hadn't known this, I actually was invited to be a part of the NASA social program. I did apply and they accepted my application. And then I got to go to Virginia and watch a launch. Do you know how long the list is that they have before they launch anything into space? Not even people. Okay. They start 12 to 20 hours in advance running down the checklist. Oh my God. They start and they run through a checklist. I mean, they've already ran through the checklist before, but it's like, okay, so it's 24 hours in advance. They start running the checklist. Now, for the launch that I went to, it was a night launch and it was sending up experiments and supplies to ISS. And I got to go see the HIF, which is the horizontal integration facility, where they put the rocket actually together. They put it together and then they send it off. Okay. Hey, Jenny. Oh my gosh. Yes, heat shield. I'm tired of Jeff Bezos. He can cry into his Ben and Jerry's. I don't care. Rest of us have. From him, some of his employees. So the list is freaking long. And I asked them, how many times do you go through the list? Because it's so long, only once. But they'd already set up everything a week in advance to get it all together. So the fact that Jeff Bezos thought the NASA waived in-flight, or flight checklists prior to launch is freaking ridiculous. Jeff Bezos has absolutely no business whatsoever being part of NASA. If he thinks that we're just going to waive off safety checks, go screw yourself, dude, for real. You're stupid. This is not where you're strong at. You're really good at having your parents pay your rent so you can sit around for a couple of years and formulate Amazon and get lots of different, people to support you financially. That's what you're good at. You're good at having other people pay your bills for you while you build a website. That's what you're good at, Jeff. You're also good at tax evasion by sending money overseas, but whatever. You got loopholes because you're a billionaire. It just makes me mad. Come on, man. If we taxed you, we wouldn't even need SpaceX. Okay? Let's just throw this out there. If we taxed our billionaires appropriately and closed all of these loopholes, we would be so much further along if we spent that money on freaking science. Are you kidding me? In science education and just in education in general. It makes me nuts. Do you know how many people have to fight to get grant funding? Leap holes. Yeah, I know. I say words wrong sometimes, Sandy. They leap right through those holes, don't they? Whee! In their space yachts. Oh, gosh. It makes me so mad, that jerk. Nobody cares, Jeff Bezos. Jeez. Why don't you go buy you some Gucci shoes and have your dogs chew them up? Will that make you feel better? All right. It's just boys with their toys on a large scale. It's like somebody got mad at that, they didn't get the super special Lego kit. I didn't get the Lego kit I wanted. I wanted to make a rocket ship out of Legos. I'm going to go and have a fit until somebody gives me my Lego Starship kit. God, man. Okay. Oh, God. Just get super punchy sometimes. All right. So let's move on to some. Hey, B, how you doing? You just missed my entire rant on Jeff Bezos and how dumb he is for suing NASA because he has no experience at all with spaceships, except for one space yacht that he blew all his money on. His own scientist quit because he sucks. Like, NASA's going to be like, you can't even keep it together, dude. Jeez. He can't even take criticism either. This is the biggest whiny baby fed I've ever seen. I bet if he went to grad school and had to defend research, he would just cry and like, I'm going to tell my daddy on you. Do you know who I am? I am Bezos. I am the Bezos. He's Dr. Evil, man. He really is. But he doesn't even have, it's like he got a fake degree. Freaking Jeff Bezos. Oh! Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's talk about I guess we could talk about I want to throw this out there and then we're going to talk about the bad COVID takes. All right. So Larry the Cable Guy. Have you guys seen that nonsense? Larry the Cable Guy. He said words on the internet. Okay. So apparently he asked questions and he said he was asking questions because he wanted to question the research associated with the vaccines. Okay, he has like 560,000 followers or something on Twitter. Well, once doctors started to address him and say, hey, here are your answers, he didn't like the answers. So he went on a blocking spree. And he asked the doctor at one point in time, can men have babies? So this really was him being transphobic. He wanted to discredit doctors for having pronouns in their bio. So he wasn't really interested. And some people are like, well, you should have really just been nicer to him about this. Should have really been nicer. He hasn't blocked me yet, but I feel like anytime I have to talk to Larry the Cable Guy, I would just need a shower, So he basically said, well, another idiot move of me going on Twitter asking COVID/vax questions and riling up the crowd. Oh boy, I need a shower. Never again. I never realized how many pronoun doctors were on Twitter on a Friday. I know one thing, if I don't lose weight, mine will be they/them. So he's a transphobe. Okay. He thinks men can't have babies. Trans men can have babies if they still have a functioning uterus, This is why I say pregnant people. I don't say pregnant women. I don't see pregnant girls. I say pregnant people because trans men can still have babies. I mean, we have documentation of that. But he's a transphobe. So his way of discrediting all of the doctors who are coming to answer his questions is that, well, they have pronouns in their bio, therefore they're stupid. Oh my God. They don't know what they're talking about. So it wasn't about him being genuine on having a conversation where he gets his questions answered. It was about him being a jerk. So let's just do this. So no, I don't feel sorry for his feelings getting hurt. He went on a blocking spree, blocking any doctor who happened to have pronouns in their bio who was answering his questions. Even if they weren't being rude, he would block them anyway. He called one doctor, well, you look like you just came right out of cast selection. He goes, oh, you think I'm handsome enough to be an actor? Well, that's a nice compliment. Thank you. And then Larry the Cable Guy blocked him. So it's like, this wasn't about a genuine question about vaccines. This is about him being a jerk on a public forum and trying to maybe get new content for his terrible show, I guess. But come on. Why was the thing about the pronouns even necessary? I mean, this is a transphobic comment. He's a jerk, you know? So, I mean, even this doctor, transphobia in addition to anti-vaccine sentiment. Well, whether or not he was genuinely asking questions, the fact that he would block doctors with pronouns in their bio and wouldn't listen to what they had to say, that was kind of different. He didn't want to listen to anybody. So this is just him being a jerk, you know? Everybody has pronouns, guys. You pick which ones you want to use based on your gender. It's exactly right. And gender is biological, and that your brain is involved with that. And whatever gender you feel like you are and who you are as a person, that is your gender. It makes me nuts. I want to put my head through the wall. And it is, yeah, gender in many ways is a social construct, but it's also driven by the way that our brains think, the way that our biochemistry is in our brain, you know? Tesla Ranger. Michael Jackson's pronouns were he. Oh my goodness. So he has fragile masculinity. I pretty much, that's what this is. Fragile masculinity. Larry the Cable Guy, come on. Get her vaccinated, Okay, so that's a terrible take. Let's look at some more terrible things that are happening, and then we'll move on to COVID. Check this out. In case you didn't already think stuff was horrible.
The governor's idea is being met with a bit of criticism.
So here, let's just check this out. The Alabama governor is going to spend COVID relief money on new prisons. Total appropriate use of COVID money. Look at this.
The state of Alabama planning to use hundreds of millions of dollars in COVID relief funds to build new prisons.
We've got an Alabama problem, and we're going to give it an Alabama solution.
Truer words, guys. This is totally an Alabama solution. Using COVID that's killing, using COVID money with a virus that's killing people in Alabama. To build more prisons. We got a problem with the prisons. We're going to build more with this COVID money. That's like people who, sit here and say, we got a starvation problem, so we're going to use the starving people money to build more prisons. But, because we need to put more people in jail so they can eat. Larry the Cable Guy doesn't have pronouns. He has amateur nouns. Sure enough, man. Jenny. Oh, gosh. Jeez. Build more prisons so you can get more labor, slave labor. There's a whole section right there. How prison can be legalized slavery, right? A legal form of slavery. That's what I see going on here, guys. Yeah, this is a way of snuffing ballots, Nether. Because if you're a felon, you don't get to vote. I bet if felons were allowed the ability to vote again, lots of things would change. Oh my gosh. There is legislation that people are working on to prevent Alabama and other states from spending COVID relief money on prisons. Specifically that, And this is from the House Judiciary. So here this week, the House Judiciary Chairman, Representative Jerry Nadler, sent a letter to the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, urging her to take all appropriate steps to prevent states from misusing American Rescue Plan funding to construct new prisons. Highly specific. Isn't that funny? So it's not quite illegal yet, but they're trying. So here's the letter. The Honorable Janet L. Yellen. Dear Secretary Yellen, I have been informed that the state of Alabama is planning to allocate hundreds of millions of dollars for the construction of new prisons. Directing funding meant to protect our citizens from a pandemic to fuel mass incarceration is in direct contravention of the intended purposes of the ARP legislation and will particularly harm communities of color who are already disproportionately impacted by over-incarceration and this public health crisis. So here, I'm going to put this link in the thing here. Oh, I'm pretty certain that they're not going to close down private prisons. Are you kidding me? That's a big old money maker there. So you can check out this link. What a hot mess. Why would you do that? I mean, if I was Alabama, man, you know, you already have lots of people boycotting, including Hollywood, but boycotting Alabama. They're just losing money. And so this is probably another way for them to get more contracts. If they spend money building prisons, then they can make more private prison contracts and make money off of that. And then you again have the whole legal slavery that happens within prisons. Woohoo! All right, let's move on to the next bad take. Check this out, guys. So there was a group of YSU faculty and students hold vaccine choice demonstration. So let's have a look at this.
COVID-19, a group of students and faculty at Youngstown State want people to have a choice. The protesters gathered this afternoon outside Todd Hall, many of them carrying signs. Leaders tell us they believe getting vaccinated.
My head hurts because you didn't take aspirin. Look at that. My head hurts because you didn't take aspirin. Headaches are not transmissible like a virus. Look at that. Who is this person? She needs to take a biology class.
Vaccinated should be a personal decision, not one enforced by the government, the university, or its union leaders.
Individuals make their own decisions every day, you know, how you drive your car, whether you wash your hands, what you do.
How you drive your car. Oh my goodness. How you drive your car. Yeah, you do make decisions. You don't go driving into a building because one, you might kill yourself, and two, you might harm other people. You also wear seatbelts, which is the law. You will also have to follow traffic laws when you drive your car. And then he said washing hands, whether or not you wash your hands. If you work in food service industry, you have to wash your hands. That's required by the health department. It's like, what the hell? Even to go to university, you have to be vaccinated for MMR and varicella. You have to provide that you've been vaccinated.
Do with your diet. So individual choice is really what makes America flourish.
Hey, you can choose to drive drunk, but then you're going to go to jail. particularly if you kill someone. These people are stupid. And they're stupid on purpose. You know what I mean? They're stupid on purpose. I just am reveling, just sitting here going in just like, yeah, this is just sad information, Harmonica Man. I just can't. I just can't. I actively debunk anti-vaccine rhetoric in my lectures nearly every single day. Part of the reason for that is to try to help my students critically think. I help them critically think. And, you know, I try my best to be culturally responsive and recognize that some vaccine resistance is due to the horrible history of racism in medicine. I get that. But this kind of crap, oh my gosh. It just makes me nuts. I just can't, man.
The group was also gathering signatures. They hope to make their case to the university's academic senate early next month.
Okay. So these people just want to have a reason to yell about something, or this is their big civil rights movement. It's just like the civil rights movement. We have to stop the government from oppressing us. This is nowhere near the same, but this is their opportunity to be part of change in the worst possible way. I can't deal with this. We're also now seeing anti-vaxxer rhetoric. Guess what, guys? We're seeing anti-vaxxer rhetoric in the NBA. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Reaper's Lair. I got family members like this. I'm pretty certain I might. I think I've avoided all the ones that would be that way at this point. Thank you for the $2 super chat. All right, let's have a look at this. Here's this article. The NBA's anti-vaxxers are trying to push around the league, and it's working. Conspiracy theories in the locker room, mask police in the arena, superstars trying to avoid the shot. So let me see if I can. This is about Kyrie Irving. Let's see if I can blow this up a bit without everything looking crazy. Let's see. So Kyrie Irving, appearing from his house for a brief press conference with reporters, Irving declined to answer directly 4 separate questions regarding his vaccination and playing status. After this story raised questions of whether he might skip home games to avoid public health regulations. Living in this public sphere, there's a lot of questions about what's going on in the world of Kyrie, he said. And I would love to just keep that private and handle that the right way with my team and go forward with the plan. All right, I want to find particularly what it said. So here, the NBA had relied on science above all to lead the sports world through the COVID nightmare, from the league's outbreak-driven shutdown to a pandemic-proof playoff bubble in Disney World, to game after game with fans back in the stands, but after 2 plagued seasons of nonstop nasal swabbing, quarantining, and distrust, unvaccinated players were pushing back. They made their case to the Union Summit. There should be testing this year, of course, just not during off days. They'd mask up on the court and on the road if they must, but no way would they agree to mandatory jab. The vaccine deniers had set the agenda. The players agreed to take their demands for personal freedom to the NBA's negotiating table. Here's what's really fun. Irving, who serves as a vice president on the executive committee of the Players Union, recently started following and liking Instagram posts from a conspiracy theorist who claims that secret societies are implanting vaccines in a plot to connect Black people to a master computer for a plan of Satan. What? Oh, the page is not found. It must be gone. They must have deleted it. Oh my gosh. This Moderna microchip misinformation campaign has spread across multiple NBA locker rooms and group chats, according to the several of the dozen plus current players, Hall of Famers, league executives, arena workers, and virologists interviewed for this story over the past week. Is this one gone? Page not found. He is deleting and erasing his tracks. This conspiracy theorist, secret societies are implanting vaccines in a plot to connect Black people to a master computer for a plan of Satan. What? Well, if they couldn't do it through your smartphones, certainly you're going to do it with microchips in their vaccines. Oh my gosh, these are NBA players, guys. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Okay, that leads me to this thing. This is fun. Let's watch this together. Here. Alrighty.
Came from Satan.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear about the virus that came from Satan.
The virus came from Satan. And if Satan is weak, the virus is weak. The virus came from...
Oh boy. The virus came from Satan. No, it didn't. Well, if it did, okay. But the virus is not weak. Oh my God. Oh man. I don't get it. I don't get this. I don't get this. How is this a thing? How? Pastor Leon Benjamin, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Golly. Yeah, I mean, fair. That's a fair argument, Nether. All plagues and evil come from God. I mean, God did have, like, with the Egyptian plague of killing all the firstborn, right? Oh my goodness. If I was not an ethical person and genuinely did not care about other humans, I would make so much money in this pandemic pushing like garbage. I really would. I cannot. I already have terrible anxiety, but I cannot bring myself to make money off of killing people. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Part of me wishes I was this horrible. It's all like, I'd have so much money, but then I'd be Jeff Bezos. Who wants to be that guy? I mean, he has a lot of money, but man, he's a jerk. He's just a jerk. He's just a jerk. He's a petulant child that throws massive baby fits, whose space yacht looks like a penis, and then he flies around the earth. And he thinks, oh, this is amazing. NASA, give me a contract. Boo-hoo, I'm going to cry and sue you now because you gave a contract to somebody with more experience than me. Oh, my God. Can I I'm going to make a cup that says Jeff Bezos NASA tears. I'm going to just do that. You guys, would you like a mug that says Jeff Bezos NASA tears? I think I'm going to make a cup like that. I think I need to make a coffee mug that says that. Jeff Bezos Nassateers. And just save it. And be like, golly. What a jerk. I'm still not over that, guys. I really, really need to get over that. So let's move on to a funny one. Here's some bad COVID takes. And then I have some pretty cool studies we can check out. We need some Jeff Bezos Nassateers. Sell it on Amazon. Funny thing, you cannot sell anti-Amazon merch on Amazon. I had a friend of mine who tried to do that. They won't let you. They will ban it. So have a look at this. I don't see the COVID reference here because I'm too busy looking at the superhero that's in the middle of this picture. I mean, I'm not a huge Chris Evans fan. I mean, he's a pretty guy. Let's be honest here. He's a pretty guy. Not really my thing. But this is just a great shot. You got Captain America who's looking around, learning about stuff. He's like, wow, I woke up from this ice and now I'm in this world. What's going on here? But then this dude, instead of enjoying a superhero film, like people should, I don't know, it's just me. He goes, look at this, Times Square, Corona on the left, virus on the right, and a mask above the car. This is called predictive programming. It is widely used in the entertainment industry as the mass mind control tool to make the population more obedient of planned future events. I mean, they thought this is the argument that this was a plan. There's something that looks like the coronavirus. When I think that's probably like a light fixture, a picture of a light fixture. And then the Phantom of the Opera, which is a Broadway play that you would find in New York, and a beer ad. Yes, clustering illusion. That's the bias that I thought of, Nether. Clustering illusion. Trying to find patterns in entirely random events. That's one of the main 20 cognitive biases. But me, I'm just like, hey, it's Captain America figuring out. He's like, oh my gosh, I woke up from being frozen in ice. What kind of world is this? Oh my goodness. And I'm like, and this is a great shot. You can see him. He's like all upset and stuff. And I'm like, he's pretty. All right. He's easy on the eyes. But, who goes looking for this in a superhero movie? And this programming doesn't really work. Predictive programming doesn't work. I mean, I've seen this movie so many times, and my thought was, oh my gosh, coronavirus has been predicted. You have to go looking for stuff like that, like actively spend energy pouring through superhero films to try to find something, which is why I bring up you are not researching your conspiracy theories. You're conclusion shopping. That's what you're doing. You're conclusion shopping. You're trying to find something that reinforces your conspiracy theory. You're conclusion shopping here. This isn't researching. You're not researching. You didn't do your own research. You are conclusion shopping, is what you're doing. Trying to find something that makes your insane hypothesis or insane ideas valid. You're conclusion shopping. That's funny. Oh, gosh. Yes, I saw that phrase on the internet somewhere. And I liked it. I'm like, conclusion shopping. Yep. So here's another one. I thought that was great. And then, golly, the Satan in the vaccines. to hook Black people up to a computer. I'm like, I get the distrust of medical science from the historical racism associated with that, because that's a thing and it's still a thing. I understand the hesitancy associated with that. But thinking that there's microchips and vaccines that are going to hook up Black people to a computer because of Satan, that's just. Have a look at this. Oh, the jump to conclusions game from Office Space Heat Shield. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. All right, let's have a look at this. The government should have no say on whether someone gets a vaccine or an abortion. My body, my choice. Okay. This other person says correct for abortions, which are not contagious. Not correct for viruses, which are, contagious. Are you pro-choice on drunk driving too? Then this person comes back. This other person says, you can't prove anyone is infecting anyone else. What? What in the world? You can't prove anyone is infecting anyone else? I mean, that's like, you can't prove I punched you in the face. For all you know, you just tripped and fell on my fist. What? Oh, I didn't punch them in the face. They tripped and fell on my fist. What in... I can't, guys. I just am absolutely flabbergasted, befuddled, dumbfounded. Find any old archaic version of disbelief and confusion, frustration, all wrapped up together. I just can't. I used to think that maybe this was just, faking. People were just faking this level of stupidity. But then I walked outside of my house and went to the grocery store. And I actually saw people doing crap like this. And I'm going, yeah, no, this level of stupidity is alive and well. And the thing is, if this level of stupidity was somehow like accidental, it was accidental stupidity, like just gross ignorance from an innocent place, like I just don't understand. I don't get it. That would be different. But it's not. People are choosing to be this stupid now. They are choosing this. I mean, they're choosing this level of stupidity. Because we're in the age of information. But the thing is, my dad said that once for real. Sandy says, I didn't push her over the box. She backed up and fell. Oh my God. That was my last straw day. I'm sorry, Sandy. But see, that's the thing. They are choosing to be this way. For whatever agenda, it really doesn't matter. Whether it's they think that they're a victim to, and this is their great time to be like the civil rights movement, which I keep saying, a lot of these entitled white people are equating getting vaccinated as being oppressed like Black people in racism, and that's not anywhere near close to what's happening here. It's just really frustrating, and I just can't. It's terrible. It was in the day and age when one didn't call 911 on family abuse. Oh gosh, I know. That's pretty gross, and I'm sorry that happened. Let's talk about some good news. Now that we've talked about bad takes. New CDC study. This was published in August. Vaccination offers higher protection than previous COVID-19 infection. So there are people who go around saying, well, the vaccine doesn't protect you quite like getting infected does. And I just want to put my head through the wall with that and say, do you really want to get infected with COVID-19 in order to have some kind of better immunity to it? Or do you just want to get a shot to where you don't have to sit on a ventilator in the hospital face down with a tube up your butt? I mean, it seems like getting vaccinated with a couple of boosters is the better option than experiencing something that is not the flu. Okay, this is not the flu. This is not the flu. This is not the flu. The flu infects your lungs. COVID can infect your entire body. Okay, your entire body. It can infect your kidney. It can affect your kidneys, your lungs, your heart, your intestines, anything that has an ACE2 receptor, which is on just about every cell in your body. Just about. But at least all of the major organ functions. All the major organs have this receptor. And so people are dying from brain stuff too. I mean, you're getting issues, in your nervous system. So by all means, please get vaccinated so you don't have to do all that. It depends what kind of tube. The kind that gets feces out of your butt. And then there's also a tube in your urethra. Okay. See you later, Heat Shield. Enjoy your time with your puppy. I'll probably be on for a little bit, just a few minutes longer. So, a study of COVID-19 infections in Kentucky among people who were previously infected with SARS-CoV-2 shows that unvaccinated individuals are more than twice as likely to be reinfected with COVID-19 than those who were fully vaccinated after initially contracting the virus. Okay? So these people that were vaccinated, they had COVID before, and then they got vaccinated, and they have a better protection than people who got it before and didn't get vaccinated. The vaccines work, guys. Oh my goodness, the vaccines work. So even if you've been infected before, get vaccinated. It gives you extra protection. You get more antibodies, right? And if we need to get a booster shot, it'll be because the virus is becoming more transmissible, which can overload the amount of antibodies that you have. So you're just going to make more antibodies. That's what the booster shot does. It just would give you more antibodies. That's it. That's it. So basically, what are they saying? If you have had COVID-19 before, please still get vaccinated, said the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. The study shows you are twice as likely to get infected again if you are unvaccinated. Getting the vaccine is the best way to protect yourself and others around you, especially as the more contagious Delta variant spreads around the country. So you still need to get vaccinated. So there's also another publication that shows vaccines prevented COVID-19 related hospitalizations among the highest risk age groups. As cases, hospitalizations, and deaths rise, the data in today's MMWR reinforce that COVID-19 vaccines are the best way to prevent COVID-19. Anything else? Hey, Ernie. Anything else is just putting on your own belief systems on this stuff. This is just the data. I mean, it's this simple. And it's explained in a way that you can understand. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't really get this at all. And it makes me nuts. Because people just are choosing. They're choosing to be stupid. They're choosing to die. They're choosing to get sick, and they're choosing to hurt other people. Man, just get vaccinated, guys. It's not that hard. I had to sit on a sidewalk for 2 days outside a hospital when my mom was there because of COVID overflow. I'm sorry, August. This isn't cool, guys. We've got to do better. We've got to do better as people. We got to do better as humans. This is just gross. How can anybody do stuff like this? No, thank you. So if you're curious, the CDC has a collection, of resources. Let's see. You can get science COVID updates. I'm going to post the link here in the chat. You can sign up to get emails about the latest science COVID updates and what the information is. You can find all the previous stuff that they talked about just by clicking on that link that I've provided. There's so much available to you. I was going to talk about a teacher thing, but we've kind of moved on to happier stuff. So I want to move on to better, good news. Get vaccinated. That's going to be your best option for surviving this pandemic. Just get vaccinated. Oh gosh, the long-term damages from COVID are pretty terrible. And if anybody's like, hey, COVID ain't so bad. I don't need the vaccine. I've already been, I already got it. Well, it can come back. There are people who have had COVID and here we go. I clicked on that and it showed up. I didn't realize I could do that. I can click on different things and then it pop up on there. That's nice. I didn't realize I could highlight comments. That's a new thing I learned today. So check out that link that Nether posted in the chat if you want to see about the implications of long-term COVID. So let's read a little bit from Mr. Rogers and then I'll wrap this up. It's going to be okay. The new pill. Oh, are you talking about the new drug? Let me see. Let's pull that up really quick. And then, I hit the calculator button twice. Okay, new pill to treat COVID. Y'all don't eat horse paste. Merck. Okay. So this came out 17 hours ago. Routers, New York Times. Let's pull up the one on routers. Okay. So let's have a look at this. Alrighty. Merck pill seen as huge advance raises hope of preventing COVID-19 deaths. So let's see. Let's see what Routers has to say about this, and then we can comment.
Mental antiviral COVID-19 medication reduces the chance of hospitalization or death for patients at risk of severe disease by around 50%. If authorized, Merck's drug, known as molnupiravir, would be the first oral antiviral medication on the market.
Okay, so I would probably need to look up this particular thing. So this is an antiviral, which more than likely what it's used for is to reduce the chances of the virus replicating within your cells. Let's see. I don't know what the function is. introduce errors. Here we go. There we go. If it gets authorization, molnupiravir, which is designed to introduce errors into the genetic code of the virus, would be the first oral antiviral medication for COVID-19. So this essentially would prevent the cell from making parts of the virus, would prevent the cell from making effective parts of the virus to where it can make copies of itself. What does that do? What in essence does that do? Okay, so with viruses, it's the whole purpose of a virus is to infect you and make copies of itself. And it ends up killing you in the process. It can end up killing you in the process. So what antibodies do are they attach to the virus to prevent it from entering into your cells so it can make copies of itself. So what this particular drug does is mess up that genetic code to where if your cells were to read that code, it wouldn't make the appropriate proteins. So it introduces enough errors into that messenger RNA, or at least into the genetic code, to where your ribosomes cannot make the appropriate virus parts to make more copies of the virus. That's what it does. So people who are like, oh, yeah, I don't have to get a vaccine, you're picking the absolute hard way of preventing this virus from infecting you. You're picking the hardest way possible. So this is meant to combat those, the COVID-19, 50% reduction in hospitalization. This is mostly at this point to stop people from overflowing the hospital because they won't get vaccinated. That's what this is. Or you could just get vaccinated, generate antibodies, and just stop the virus from entering in your cells in the first place. That's the point. Dinah says, since Merck makes ivermectin, I predict the next big theory will be that the new pill is just relabeled ivermectin. Oh my goodness. If you get the vaccine, you're stopping the virus from entering into your cells. I mean, or you can run the risk, have it infect you, and take a drug that's going to mess up the genetic code of the virus to where you don't make as many copies of the virus. But that's 50% rate. That's not really that awesome. 98% of people who get vaccinated don't go to the hospital. I mean, and if you do, you're going to just be sitting there with some oxygen. You won't be face down on the bed with a tube up your butt on a ventilator. But hey, maybe you'll enjoy that. You know, I don't know. Maybe people enjoy that, but I'm just telling you, I really don't want to bleed out in the hallway of a hospital because I got in a car wreck and some jerk who was an anti-vaxxer and probably flipped me off at the post office is now taking up a bed because, you know, I'm going to be very mad. The anti-vaxxer rhetoric isn't just killing anti-vaxxers. It's killing other people who need the hospital beds to get their treatable conditions treated. People are dying of heart attacks because they don't have access to a bed. People are dying of bullet wounds because they don't have access to a bed. People are dying from car crashes because they don't have access to the bed. So it just... that's the thing that bothers me the most about it. If it was just hurting the anti-vaxxers, that would be different, but it's not. It's hurting a lot of other people. And not just people, you know, who can't get the vaccine. You know, it's hurting other people in general, collectively, across the board. So there you go. All right, let's read some Mr. Rogers because I need Mr. Rogers to be proud of me today. We need to do something kind for somebody else. Ah. How about this? This is We Are All Neighbors from the World According to Mr. Rogers. What matters isn't how a person's inner life finally puts together the alphabet and numbers of the outer life. What really matters is whether he uses the alphabet for the declaration of a war or the description of a sunrise. His numbers for the final count at Buchenwald or the specifics of a brand new bridge. How you use your words and numbers matter. Meaning that's true, isn't it? We're seeing that with anti-vax heretic. What matters isn't how a person's inner life finally puts together the alphabet and numbers of his outer life. Okay, you might sort yourself out, and that's great. That's important. But what you say and what you do and how you use your words, then in that they affect other people, that's important. What really matters is whether you use the alphabet for the declaration of a war or the description of a sunrise. You know, your numbers for the final count at Buchenwald or the specifics of a brand new bridge. Are you building bridges? Are you destroying lives? Are you declaring war? Or are you making people's lives a bit better by describing a beautiful sunrise? What are you doing with your words and your numbers? I mean, what are you doing with your words and numbers? Are you making lives better or are you tearing them down? So that's the world according to Mr. Rogers. What would Mr. Rogers do? That's what I often think about. And would Mr. Rogers be proud of me today? I love Mr. Rogers. If you don't know Mr. Rogers, look him up, man. National treasure, beautiful human being, and a wonderful educator. And I try to educate in similar ways as Mr. Rogers, the best that I can. But it's really hard. It's really hard sometimes to be kind when so much is going terrible and when people are so abusive and horrible to you. And sometimes kindness is just walking away. Sometimes kindness is not doing that debate, you know? That would probably be a kind thing for me to do, not humiliate another person on a YouTube channel. Because that will happen. It's not going to hurt my feelings to debate somebody. And I don't necessarily enjoy tearing down another person unless they're an absolutely horrible human being that's misogynistic, racist, and oppressive. I feel I have a duty to do that to a degree, completely destroy a person like that because their rhetoric harms other people. And maybe I can give them a bit of tough love on that and say, no, you just wrong. You just wrong. Replace cable news with Mr. Rogers reruns. Yes. Oh my goodness. You guys are so sweet. It's really hard. It's really hard sometimes. And I'm not always kind. But I have good intentions. But, you know, the way to hell and all that. But we try our best. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll admit that. Sometimes I'm wrong. Maybe I was wrong to go on that channel Thursday night. But I'm so tired of hearing wrong information and people misrepresenting something that I love, which is science. And science and religion are not at odds. But the people who use that, they're at odds with each other. And you can come to terms with believe if you want, don't believe if you want, but don't misrepresent science. And don't assume that my correcting you, is meant from a horrible place. But maybe I shouldn't have been laughing at the guy. But he wasn't exactly nice. And he wasn't listening either. So it's like, what the point? What's the point? What's the goal? What is the goal? And that's what I kind of go back to. What's the goal of that interaction? Can you hear the tornado sirens? They do this every Saturday at noon. Anyway, thank you, August. I want to thank you guys for watching. And I will say, you always make each day special for me. You know how, by just your being you. I will see you next Saturday. Have a super awesome, fantabulous day. Sending squishy science hugs. Oh.